Hello, Niels Harbors fans. This is another video, supplemental video on police vehicles, and talk a little bit about why I chose the sets that I did, maybe what modifications I did or did not make and why, and maybe a little bit about where their origins were, where they sort of came from, why they might have been able to show up on a scene or why they weren't seen or those kinds of things. Okay, well, the first one's off is easy. This is the bike from 60047. Really liked how they did a crossover for the saddlebags on this one. Made full use of the Lego fittings on the bike. Wasn't really pleased with some of the other sets. It didn't feel or look like a police bike to me. But I did make a couple of small adjustments to the rear of the bike. Number one, where the cuffs should be, I actually slipped in, as you can see, a flashlight there. Handcuffs are worn on a policeman's belt. I didn't know why they'd be flying off the end of a bike, so I changed that. I left the radio intact. I changed the position of the radio antenna for the bike so it could contact HQ from yellow to gray. I just thought it was more fitting with the color scheme, and I haven't seen a lot of yellow antennas in my time. I also changed the rear flashing light on the bike, which you can see is right beside the antenna. I changed it from red to blue. The reason being, I kind of like that European concept of everything being blue, and there was a lot more of the sets where blue was the standard theme. I'm not sure if that's because a lot of these sets are designed in Denmark and that's their fallback position, but I just like the blue lights more than I did the idea of setting up blue and red lights. Anyway, that was the police bike for Niels Harbor, set up at the sort of central station for section 2. And we're going to get right onto the car itself. This was the squad car I chose for Niels Harbor. This was from set 60042. Did not like in that set that two windows were holding up the entire roof. It didn't feel like a car, even if it was a two-door police car. This area just was too much of a gap. There was just nothing going on, so I sectioned it off with the idea that there might be equipment in the back, or that you could in fact fit somebody you arrested maybe into the back of the car. I just wanted to give it some more depth, so I did make that small modification to it. But I really enjoyed this car. I really liked it. I bought quite a few of them. As you can see, there's a few more hiding in the back there. And I just liked everything about the car. I like the fact that even some people don't like how the tires would stick out. I like that idea that the regional cars would have a much more durable or wide tire because of the terrain in which they're asked to patrol. I haven't talked a lot about in my supplemental videos about guidance, or which was the region in which they inhabited, or the country of union, but I'll do that in a separate video. Needless to say, this was a town on an island controlled by a regional or provincial or state police force. That's how they decided to police that area. The town would have been too small for its own police force. Bigger cities, which I'll get to later, like Bingham or November, would have their own municipal force. But this is sort of your Ontario Provincial Police or your New York State Highway Patrol kind of police force. Bring into the next car. This was a newer model for the police department. This is their new cruiser up and coming. And of course, supervisors get the new car first, right? So this is actually a supervisor's car. You can't really tell from this video, and I have learned from bitter experience not to try to show it to you, but the number on top is not 02. It is 602, and 6 is the number for helicopters to be able to identify a supervisor car from the air. Of course, the 02 is just the section that it was from. And you will have busted me. This is, in fact, the police car from 60047. But again, I made the idea that the roof was supported with a little bit more metal, and that the section of the car was a little bit more split up. The one from 0047, there's just a little bit too much window for me, and it just was not saying police patrol car to me, so I made that little change. But anyway, I used one or two of these during the video series, and it fit quite well. Is the idea that the cars would eventually be changing to newer models. A lot of police departments have 2 or 3 different models of cars, so there wasn't any inconsistency with that. Now, this was something that I made no adjustments to at all. This is the truck from 74-98. I love this vehicle. I just love that on the roof there's this inexplicable ladder. I like that idea that not everything was explained in my mocks or in buildings. Just random pieces of equipment that probably have a very good use, but we're not going to explain it to you. We're just going to leave it a mystery. This is, in fact, playing 3 duties for the police department in Niels Harbor. It is the K9 unit. It can be modified quite quickly into a paddy wagon for 1 or 2 people if need be, if there's some sort of major arrest going on. It was usually not used for that in Niels Harbor. It could also be, instead of a paddy wagon, could be used as a utility van for cargo and so on. But I like the fact that this van could be so flexible and do so many things for the little station in Niels Harbor. So I didn't need to change this model at all. I feel that I modified maybe the bumper a little bit, but for the most part, I just like this build and liked how it looked. And conveniently, it also had 02 for section 2 on top of the vehicle. Something that might have made an appearance, I be honest, I cannot remember, but it does segue into a future video. This is a truck from section 5. As you can see, there's the number right there. This is the maintenance truck for the Marine launches. That's its job, and that's what it in fact does. And oh, I see we've broken a wheel here. That would explain its wobbling about. My apologies to you video viewers. I assumed when I first started these videos that I'd be using the Marine, Police Marine out of the Coast Guard station. Never really came to pass. It just didn't fit. It was some of those edits I had to make as I went along. There was a video where some Marine units showed up to coordinate a rescue for some fishermen in the video series, but for the most part, I'll give you a little bit of a look there. For the most part, I didn't really get to use it, but sometimes my builds came before my videos, and I had to sort of, as I went along, decide this guy's not going to make it into the video. I can't quite remember if he ever did or not, but for the most part, he certainly wasn't a central character. Here we have, as you can tell, this is a complete steel again from 60047. I just like it. It's the right size for a helicopter. Comes out of section 8, as you can see right up here, section 8, right out of November. This is a police helicopter meant for a big city, for aerial surveillance and tracking of speeding vehicles, robberies, tactical situations, searching. This is not a helicopter that lands on the ground and deploys a SWAT team like some of the Lego helicopters that I've seen. I've yet to see from any municipal forces that use Chinook military-grade helicopters as part of their police force. I just felt that was a bit strange. So I was really quite happy with that. It actually did visit in one of the videos when we were doing one of the rescue videos, the search video, and the police and Coast Guard were sort of all cooperating together to rescue those gentlemen, those characters. Now I'm going to have to take this old fellow out. Just move him right aside. It's the last in the vehicles. This is a vehicle straight out of November that I am pulling aside here. And I'm just going to pull it straight in and right to the back so it doesn't overwhelm. And there we go. Suppose I can actually pull that out a little bit, I think. Let's just try to... No, I don't think I can zoom out on this one. But that's okay. I'll just pull back the camera a little bit and we'll cheat. But as you can see, this is the set it's just a straight set. And sometimes, depending on the scenarios, I wasn't sure what I was going to be videotaping or what scenarios, police scenarios I was going to be able to do. This was also used in the rescue video. It's set 60044. I haven't changed a darn blessed thing. Really is no major changes. There's a slight cosmetic piece that I was using here so things didn't slide around in case I was videotaping. But there's turn the truck right back around, because as you well know, that isn't all there is to that set. There's a set of doors here that you can open and find equipment in. I can do that. But if you wanted to know a lot more about this set and have it explained in sort of more detail, as you can kind of see here, we have some policemen inside. This is a command and control unit. This guy is when there's multiple air, land, sea units, or marine units. This is a coordination area to talk with the press, to coordinate different departments, to pull people into the van and have meetings with them, to track things. And as I said, I only used it once at the airport, I think is where I eventually placed it, to coordinate with the air searches. But yeah, I just like the set. And I actually ended up using the set a couple of times with my studio, my movie studio, just as the idea of cargo trucks carrying large pieces of equipment for the movie studios if they ever went out to shoot outside the studio and shoot with what are called exteriors, I suppose, finding a space where the set was actual landscapes and things like that. Okay, well that actually finishes this video right up. There's really nothing else more to say. We'll be then talking more about, in the second video, talking a little bit more about air, marine, and a little bit more about sections, what that actually means. I've touched on it a bit in this video, but as you can see, I bought a couple of sets a few times in the background there. And that's it for this video. And well, I'll see you in the next video, I guess. Thanks for listening.